Questions. We have tons of them. What if some of those questions can be answered with a simple email? Now is that time, and welcome to Chat with Charlie. Host Stephanie Lynn is a certified spiritual life coach and psychic medium. She will work together with Spirit to answer both your submitted and live questions. Not only will Stephanie be providing you with insight, but also interviews with amazing guests. Now, your host of Chat with Charlie, Stephanie Lynn.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in, and welcome to this episode of Chat with Charlie on WLTK-DB, Let's Talk Radio. And it's kind of a solemn show. It actually seems weird. I'm sure many of you that follow the station know that at the end of the month, the station is disbanding, I guess you could say. And so, hi, Keith. Thank you for joining. This is it. This is the last Chat with Charlie show here on WLTK-DB. And so I really don't have a plan. We were supposed to have a guest. Kelly Wagner was supposed to join. Unfortunately, she had a family emergency, so she could not be here. But I thought, hi, Rez, thank you for tuning in. How fitting, right? I've been thinking about this and how surreal it is, I guess you could say, if you look back over this journey. And I think this is what the conversation is going to be about today. The self-evolution, the self-discovery, people that come with you on the journey, people that you lose on the journey, and the turns, right? The way things go, the twists and the turns. Because 2 years ago, I wasn't even using Stephanie, right? I was still going by Charlie. And I reflect now, looking at this as the last Chat with Charlie episode, of how difficult, how fundamentally and completely horrifying the first episode was for me to sit down here and do Chat with Charlie. And now it's really strange because I can't picture myself without this platform to help advocate, to help educate, and how much has changed in this almost 2-year journey with you and with Spirit, and ultimately with the station. And so I'm just so grateful. I'm grateful to have been given the opportunity to sit down with everybody to educate from my perspective and my communications with Spirit. And so I'm grateful. And I really just want everybody to know how grateful I am for all of you coming along on this journey with me. And so at any point during the show, if you have any questions, if you have anything you want to ask, throw them in there. Maybe we'll do some cards, but I really just want to reflect. And so let's think about, right, where we have gone, where you have come in on this journey with me, or where I have come in with Spirits on your journey, and how much has changed. Is there anything in your life right now that 2 years ago you thought could never happen? You know, you maybe thought, I'm so happy to have gotten to meet you too, Keith. I'm very grateful for all of you. That you thought, maybe it wasn't a possibility. Maybe it was a long-term goal. Maybe there was something that you were dealing with fear about dealing with. And the way Spirit brings us through those things, right? Brings us through those conversations. Because I've heard so many times in working on the platform, and people will say, oh my gosh, well, you seem so confident when you're sitting there and talking to us. And I'm like, whew, I don't feel confident. I don't feel like I got this. But that's perspective, right? What I'm projecting out to help others isn't always reflective of what I feel on the inside. And it's like that for so many of us. And so I want us all really to kind of reflect on where you've been throughout the journey of your life. Maybe not everything worked out the way you thought it was going to. Maybe some things, not necessarily negatively, but, for myself, I never foresaw the station coming to an end. And so this is a kink, right? It's a kink in the road. But what is important is that we find a way to readjust, to address. I came from that, like I said, that place of deep fear to now going, oh, well, shoot, how do I keep advocating? Oh, thank you, Rez. Actually, I am working on trying to find a way to stay present, to stay a platform to help connect and communicate and advocate. So stay appraised to the Chat with Charlie page, or hop on over, to Stephanie Lynn Spirit Sensitive. The reason I have, the two pages is I knew I wouldn't always be Charlie, right? Just like I gave up using Charlie to moving into using Stephanie Lynn, I knew I always would not be identified there. And so I am working on another podcast. I got some things to figure out. I do have some amazing guests that once I get things figured out will come in. There's a lot of hosts that I really still want to advocate for you with and network with, because they're all so amazing. Keith, Keith says it's so true. He says he knows that he has grown so much. I'm not sure how smooth the road was, or is it going to be in the future? And I get that. There's, think about how we limit ourselves. We limit ourselves, out of fear, based on perceptions of past experiences, based on the unknown. We do that on so many things where we just say, oh, I can't do this, right? And I'm even kind of doing that with I was self-limiting, looking at, oh, station platform's gone. Guess I can't do this anymore. But that was an excuse. I can work through. I think I got a new spirit guide that's kind of techie, which I really need. But having that, I definitely will, Rez. Thank you. Having that ability to push aside some of those fears, to push aside the uncertainty, to say, you know what, this might not work out the way I want it to, but I'm going to explore this. Don't be afraid to take chances. If I can leave with anything here in this platform to say to people outside of what we've talked about with spirituality and advocating for spirit and advocating for education, is do not self-limit, right? Don't think because you try something and it doesn't work out the way you want it to, or maybe it's just like, oh, this was a failure. Hi, Jackie. Thanks for tuning in. Don't, can I send that spirit guide your way, my techie spirit guide? I can try. That's funny. Don't say, oh my gosh, I failed, right? I failed. I can't try this again. Because hi, Courtney, when we think we fail, really we're building steps. We're building foundations. And yeah, some things we might say, you know what? This isn't quite for me. I'm feeling nudged a little bit in a different direction. But everything, hi, Jamie Lynn. Oh, I'm glad that you don't fear holding yourself back anymore. That's a huge point to get to. Allow those building blocks to be just that. Learn from experiences. Don't make it a quitting point. Do not allow it to be a quitting point. Okay? Don't be afraid to try, right? I'm actually, share this with you guys, looking at going back to school, maybe finishing out my bachelor's degree. And I'm like, oh, really, Spirit? I'm old. People, I am old. And it's like, do I want to go back and invest, right? Invest at this age to finish out a bachelor's degree and then go on and kind of, change some avenues of my original career path. But that's self-limiting. Why am I limiting myself based on my age, based on starting over? It's not really starting over. We're building from experience. And so please, if anything, if I can give you anything to take away, is that belief in yourself, to invest in yourself, and to not look at things that may not go the way you want to as not being success. Reevaluate, plan things out, and adjust. Change the perspective. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Yeah. Catherine says 2 years ago, her mother suddenly passed. I could have never imagined how I got to today, but I couldn't have without her passing. Life is funny. Death is weird. That's so true. So poetically true. Yeah, I don't know. Algebra is a whole nother story. Like, I'm not a pirate. I don't know why I need to find X. I just give me the numbers. If you give me the actual numbers, maybe a calculator, I can figure it out. Just don't throw letters in there. Don't throw letters in there. Keith, I'm old too, but I have been looking at some different things, and maybe a new job is coming too. Right? And I agree, Keith, and I love that. Look at those possibilities. Jackie may have helped me through college with some of my math classes. Don't tell my professors. Courtney says math is not my forte, but words are when I'm the right context. I get that. So is there anything, this is our last time sitting down under this platform. I hope some of you will find me as I move on in my journey, that I can answer for you things that maybe are questions that never came up in show topics where you're just like, I'm curious about that. Please stick them in there. I would really love to try to address them or try to help you with that. I'm saying a lot, and I apologize. It's been a long day, but I'm also being interrupted by spirit. And I feel like there's somebody on here or listening, because I don't really feel like it's anybody that's come up in the comments. So kind of a quiet listener that is ignoring their abilities. Okay. And they're making me feel like this is somebody who, I feel like there were experiences as a child, but I feel like these have gotten stronger. I also feel like this is a female. So if this makes sense to you, they're really wanting you to, they're showing me like that circle, right? Which is part of what this was. This was always meant to be part of that circle of having people that can advocate for you. So to keep finding that advocation for understanding your abilities, it does to you. Okay. Do you think this is for you, Catherine? I'm just wondering, because it's kind of funny you popped in right as I was bringing this in. So if this is you, or for whoever it is, really look at a network, find a safe place where you can talk about your experiences, and not that you, okay, so that does make sense. So make sure that you are doing that self-advocation and that you're networking or putting people in place in your life that are going to support that. Because I feel like not all of the people that are currently in your circle, right, that close group, are going to understand or support that need for understanding and self-advocacy. So I hope that makes sense. But that was very important to them that they get that message out. Okay, thank you. So I'm just going to miss you guys. Like, I'm kind of struggling. I was driving home today thinking about, oh, thank you. That's Bob, my kitty. Oh, I got to lean this way. He's just kind of, all my cats are chilling in here with me today. I think they know this is kind of, you're so welcome, kind of a pivotal moment. It's not the ending of a chapter though. It's the beginning of something new. And I'm really excited because I know, talking to some of the other hosts, that they have a lot of things planned too. Everybody's kind of, branching out and expanding out. It's that ripple effect of where spirit needs to move us now, right? We can't look at it as an end. Where does spirit need us to move now? Because really that's who we're here to serve, and that's who we are here to help. So I apologize for the dogs barking in the background, but hey, it's animals. So we are going to take a quick station break. When we come back, I'm going to answer if you guys have any questions, tell you a couple things that I have coming up. And then we're probably only going to just do a quick show because really, I just don't know what else to say. And I don't really want to cry. So I'll see you guys all back in just a moment.
No matter the questions, Ellie Weisencell can help you find the answers. Ellie is a gifted intuitive and a natural energy healer, which she applies using the body code and emotion code healing systems, among others, to help you achieve balance for your best results. Are you looking for more clarity about which direction to follow with your life, health, or career? Let Ellie guide you. As a psychic, Ellie can provide clarity to the path you are on, so you may use your free will to change the direction of your life. Are you wanting to communicate with a loved one who's passed? As a certified psychic medium, Ellie Weisencell can connect you with your loved ones on the other side to facilitate healing or offer closure. To schedule your appointment with Ellie, look her up on Facebook at Ellie Weisencell Psychic Medium or email her at ellieweisensell@gmail.com. That's Ellie Weisencell, Weisensell.
Hello and welcome back at 16 past the hour on Chat with Charlie, where you got me, Stephanie Lynn. And we were just kind of talking about finality, but really finality not being final. And this, nothing is, things are final, right? If somebody passes away, we look at that as a finality, right? When they transition, that's a finality in this realm here, earth. But spirit goes on, right? So is anything actually really final, right? The station's ending, but it's not final. It's not final for the hosts. So when you feel like a door is closing, just start to look for opportunities. Change that perspective. And I appreciate, Jennifer Lee is like, definitely stay in touch and work on some projects. Absolutely. I've just met so many amazing people here. Jackie says lots of energy over there, like everyone is here to say goodbye to this platform. And I agree. I feel like over the next couple weeks, as other hosts come in, especially hosts who have been here way longer than myself, there's going to be a lot of energy because, there's so much servitude to each other and to spirit. And so as that shifts and we find that place, absolutely a lot of energy. Keith, thank you. I will miss you all too. And yes, I think we all will meet again. We will all find each other in the niches that we need. Catherine says, goodbyes hold an equal hello. And that's true. Absolutely. And that's about looking for those opportunities. Facebook user, I'm sorry, I'm not sure who this is, but they say, I ignored my abilities for years. Going for a reading woke me up to the fact I just wouldn't admit it. Fear holds us back. And I agree completely with that. I don't know that I've ever shared this story on the platform here with you guys, but if I have, I apologize, but I'm going to share it again. When I was really, starting to take classes, starting to look into my abilities, I still was in denial, right? Because we all know I have that very skeptical scientific portion of myself. And I just ignored and I ignored. And I would go to some holistic events and I would go and I would sit in the galleries. And I actually went to a local one and I took a friend and him and I are sitting in, we went into the gallery because he had never done one. So we're sitting in the gallery and she's giving readings of transitioned loved ones out to the gallery and she stops her gallery. And she says, I am sorry to stop this. She says, but I just had a spirit guide come in who is very adamant. She goes, where are the mediums in the audience? And of course, I instantly shrink, right? Because I'm like, it's not me. No way, not me. No way would spirit call me out in the middle of 60 people when they know I'm not even talking about my abilities, right? And so I sat there very quietly. And she said, no, she said, there's two of you. And I looked at my friend because he's also very gifted. And finally, she looked at me. She says, I feel like I'm over here. And I said, well, and so my guide gave a very poignant message of ignoring my abilities and needing to be doing something with it and advocating for people, and kind of chastised my friend also. But that was a moment that really woke me up, because we all have abilities, right? In some way we have an intuitiveness. That's how we survived for years as a species, was that instinctual intuitiveness. We've just kind of lost it in society. We now rely on Google to tell us to turn left, when instinctively we might have felt that. And so, when a Facebook user is saying that woke me up, it was the same for me, but it woke me up to the understanding of, I don't need to be Lisa Williams up on a big platform. I don't need to be on TV, chip coffee. That's not what I need to do with my abilities. But all of us are called to our abilities for a reason. Denying others the gift of what we can do with our abilities is denying them a blessing. And I don't know if that makes sense, because it took me a while to look at that, because thank you. Anne, hello. You're my Facebook user. I never realized, by denying and saying, because I had spirit come to me lots of times and say, you need, give this person this message, or I would intuitively pick things up, and I wouldn't. But we are given things for a reason, right? To help. And so just like I felt called to share this story, if I wouldn't have listened to that intuitiveness, I would have been denying the lesson or the understanding to the people that needed to hear it. Does that make sense? And I feel like when we deny that for other people, we are called to repetitively go back through these things until we kick back in and we give that and we share that. And Keith, I didn't mean anything negative about Lisa. She's fantastic. I just mean, that's not me, right? That's not, and people that have abilities don't always want to be in the public spotlight. And so that was just an example. It wasn't anything against Lisa. So I hope nobody took it that way. But, we have to allow a spirit to work within us and use our abilities for the reason and for the message, and to plug those puzzle pieces in for other people. Because think about those poignant moments in your life, right? If that person wasn't put there in that time to connect those poignant moments, would it have clicked? Or would you still be struggling? Would you still be stuck in that? So think of that when you're holding back your own abilities. And we do, when we're working with our abilities, we go through the fear, we go through the, I don't want to say this, that's crazy. What if I'm wrong? What if I'm this? What if I'm that? You're not wrong. It's just how we interpret the information. Spirit's never wrong. It's just how things are interpreted. So we got to move past those hurdles. We have to start getting to a place where we freely share our light, where we freely see people for who they are. We connect. Yes, energy and motion. So be that positive ripple effect. Start changing the perspective. Start self-advocating. And don't be afraid to take chances. If I wouldn't have taken a chance, I'd have never got to meet you guys. I'd have never gotten to learn all the lessons that I learned from each and every one of the viewers when I sat here every week. You are as part and as big of a part of my learning as I have been in yours and in spirit sharing. So I appreciate that. And honestly, guys, I just thank you, humbly thank you. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the understanding, for letting me educate. If you are in the northern Wisconsin area, I will be in Ashland, Wisconsin on Saturday with a lot of other great vendors. Soul and Synergy is hosting an amazing event. I know there's going to be some fellow hosts there, so make sure you check it out if you're local. It's a 2-day event, but I can only make it on Saturday, so I will be there. And like I said, follow along on the pages, keep up with all the other hosts, because I know they have a lot of great things coming on and great projects and things that they're going to need support in and want to support you with. And yes, people have asked me when I come back with another podcast, I am still going to have Ellie. We are still going to do some kind of in the mix with Steph and Ellie. It's just going to be, I don't know, we'll have to retitle it or something, right? We got to be unique. So pay attention. I want to thank you guys all again from the bottom of my heart. I know this has not been an hour, but really this is hard. This is hard for me just to shift and in all the shifts that I have gone through to now say goodbye. So I hope you will all stick around, follow me, and I will see you hopefully in a couple of weeks when I figure things out. Take care, everybody. I love you all.
The truth is here and now on WLTK-DB Talk Radio at WLTK-DB.com.